Scottie Barnes is proving his doubters wrong. So far into his rookie season, Scottie is playing at a very high level of NBA basketball, and he's far exceeding any expectations put upon him going into the NBA draft. But quickly before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports. I make opinionated NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. But anyways, let's get into it.
I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetic.
Scottie Barnes was drafted with the number 4 overall selection in the 2021 NBA draft, which of course was this year. And going into the draft, Scottie was seen as a phenomenal defender, but in terms of his offensive abilities, he was seen as a work in progress. And going into the draft, people weren't necessarily expecting all that much from Scottie in his rookie year due to the fact that he didn't have too many skills offensively, or at least it was seen as such. But I think it's safe to say at this point that Scottie Barnes clearly exceeded expectations by a mile. But let's quickly look at Scottie's game point by point to really describe why he's playing so well this year. Now, starting with Scottie's three-point shooting ability, this was certainly an ability that going into the draft, not a lot of people thought he had within his game, and even at this point, Scottie's only shooting around 30% from deep, which clearly isn't good either. But with that being said, I think it's pretty safe to say that he certainly has the ability to shoot from 3 at this point. Scottie has an okay catch-and-shoot three-point jump shot, especially from the corner or even the top of the key, which of course helps out his team pretty significantly in terms of just spacing the floor for guys like Fred VanVleet or maybe Pascal Siakam once they drive all the way to the basket. But from that three-point area, Scottie doesn't really have much more than just a catch-and-shoot three-point jump shot. But now talking about his mid-range jump shot shooting, I would say he has a decent pull-up mid-range jump shot. He time to time has the ability to cross over into a mid-range jump shot as well. I think he does have the ability to hit a nice little post turnaround fadeaway within his game, but it's just not all that consistent at this point, and he doesn't do it all that much. But that's something as his career progresses, I would personally like to see him add that within his game more consistently, and if he does so, I think he could become a way more efficient scorer. But really, Scottie's driving and finishing ability is his main bread and butter. Once driving all the way to the basket, Scottie has a really nice ability to get some posterizing dunks from time to time due to his decent athleticism as well as his phenomenal wingspan. But mostly once he drives all the way to the basket, he finishes around defenders with crafty layups. He has the ability to finish with either his left or right hand, of course, has a nice little floater within his game as well that he uses from time to time, has a pretty nice touch around the basket as well in terms of a nice little hook shot or just a little push shot in the lane. And overall, in terms of his driving and finishing ability, I would say that Scottie is certainly very good at that aspect of his game. But the great thing about Scottie Barnes is he's so versatile. Even besides his individual scoring ability, he has a phenomenal passing and playmaking ability for the position he plays, and honestly, I think it's really good in general, regardless of the position he plays. Scottie just has a really nice ability to either get the rebound and quickly push the ball up the court and find players for easy dunks or layups. He also does a pretty nice job at really surveying the defense from the top of the key or maybe from the high post and finding players cutting all the way to the basket for easy dunks or layups, or maybe in the corner for a wide open catch and shoot three-point jump shot. He also somewhat has a nice ability to run the pick and roll / pick and pop and just break down the defense and find open players overall, which makes his passing and playmaking ability so effective. But going into the NBA draft, it was pretty clear that the real calling card of Scottie Barnes was his defensive ability, and still at this point, it's pretty clear that Scottie's an amazing defender at the next level. Scottie does a phenomenal job at playing great individual defense, and he basically has the ability to guard positions 1 through 5 out there on the court. He's very versatile defensively. But even besides his great individual defense, he does a great job at playing great team defense and off-ball defense as well by getting in the passing lanes from time to time with that great wingspan that he has. He does a decent job at coming over for some weak side blocks as well and just weak side help in general. He moves pretty quickly defensively overall and is just basically everywhere on the defensive side of the ball, and clearly having a defender like Scottie Barnes is a huge benefit for the Toronto Raptors and is one of the bigger reasons for why they're playing so well this season. And overall, besides all the individual abilities that Scottie has, I think his overall basketball IQ as well and his work ethic is certainly a huge part of it as well. And I don't necessarily think a lot of people expected Scottie to get to the point where he's at currently in terms of his offensive abilities this quickly. Now, of course, I'm not saying that Scottie Barnes is an all-star type player or even a superstar type guy, and he's nowhere near where he wants to be offensively at this point. But what I'm trying to say is Scottie Barnes is a much better player offensively than people thought when he was getting drafted into the NBA, and I think he's improved a lot quicker than people thought as well. And when you look at the actual statistics, it would back up everything that I said in this video, as on the season, Scottie's averaging around 15.5 points per game on 49% shooting from the field, 7.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. And overall, those numbers are of course really good and show his versatility versatility, but especially as of late, Scottie has been playing really well as well. All the way back on March 18th, Scottie put up an incredible 31-point game on pretty efficient shooting as well, but as of late, Scottie put up 19 points, 10 points, 17, and 19 points again, and overall, I think it's pretty clear that Scottie is getting better as the season progressed. But now, what are my personal expectations for Scottie Barnes long term? So the main thing that I'm looking for with Scottie is just to continuously improve his game season after season. I'm not necessarily saying that Scottie needs to improve a significant amount each and every season, but what I'm looking for is small improvements each and every year. If Scottie's able to improve or maybe add a new move to his offensive game each and every season, even if it's a small thing or a small improvement, over time, maybe after 3, 4, 5 seasons, he'll become a much more versatile and much more efficient offensive player overall. And eventually at that point, he can get to the player that he wants to be in terms of a potential borderline all-star player or maybe even an all-star type guy. But in terms of my actual expectations, I certainly think Scottie could eventually get to the point of an all-star level guy. The biggest key that he would need to improve though, of course, would be his offensive game, because of course at this point he's putting up decent numbers, but at the same time I think it's pretty clear that he's not necessarily there yet, and he still has a lot of work to do on his offensive game specifically. But when you look at his defensive game, I think it's very advanced at this early stage of his career, and of course he's a great defender, he's a great rebounder as well, he has a great ball handling ability for his size, and I think a lot of other aspects of his game is certainly very good at this point and certainly very advanced. The biggest key would just be his offensive game. But even besides Scottie Barnes, I'm also very excited to see how the Toronto Raptors as an organization move forward, because I personally think they have a very bright future as well. And the reason why I think that is the great young core of players that they have. Of course, they have Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, who I mentioned before in the video, but I think both of those guys already at this point, of course, are really good players, and I would expect them to continuously get better as time progresses. And I am especially excited about Fred VanVleet. I think he's going to be such a great player long term. But even besides those main two guys, they have OG Anunoby, who I made a video on a while ago. I think he's going to be a really good player as well. Gary Trent Jr. has been amazing ever since he got traded to the Raptors, and it's pretty clear that the Raptors as an organization know how to draft and also grow talent. So I'm very excited to see what they can do long term, and I certainly think they have something special brewing in Toronto. And also going into the playoffs, it's going to be exciting to see how these young guys do perform at that level, as of late the Toronto Raptors have been one of the most exciting and hot teams in the NBA. The Raptors won their last 5 games, and in their last 10 games they have an 8-2 record. I don't necessarily think a lot of people are giving the Raptors enough credit. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Scottie Barnes is a lot more impressive than people give him credit for, or do you not think so? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, check one of these 2 videos popping up now, and until the next time, peace out guys.
Oh yeah, I work with the medics. I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetics. Hope you can't go